Your thoughts do not just interpret reality. They help collapse it into form that the Yoga Vasistha states. The world is nothing but a projection of the mind. When the mind is stilled, the world dissolves. But what does this really mean? Society tells you your thoughts are private, invisible, harmless like clouds drifting through an empty sky. The ancient masters, from the Hermetic sages of Alexandria to the rishis of India, taught something far more unsettling. Your thinking is a subtle force that selects, amplifies, and crystallizes the version of reality you experience. They saw mind as the primordial field, and matter as its shadow. You are taught that the universe is dead, mechanical, indifferent. The Hermetic corpus whispers the opposite. The all is mind. The universe is mental. If this is true, then your internal monologue is not background noise. It is a set of commands issued to the living fabric of existence. Modern physics hints at the same mystery. Observation influences experiment. Intention shifts probability. Attention changes the brain itself. The veil between worlds is thinner than breath. Between a thought and its echo in the outer world, there is a membrane of possibility waiting to collapse. In this video, you are not a casual viewer. You are an initiate, stepping into a teaching the ancients guarded in temples and mystery schools. We will not simply repeat New Age cliches about positive thinking. We will trace how thought, emotion, and attention create patterns in your nervous system, your energy field, and the quantum sea beneath matter until reality itself rearranges around your dominant inner state. By the end, you will understand why certain thoughts keep repeating, why your life seems to mirror your inner narrative, and how to consciously collapse reality into a higher version of yourself. If you dare to practice what you learn here, your relationship with your own mind and with the universe will never be the same. Enter the temple now not as a tourist of history, but as a seeker of living truth. It is the 2nd century CE in Alexandria. The air is thick with frankincense and myrrh. You walk through towering columns carved with falcons and lotus flowers. Their sandstone surfaces cool beneath your fingertips. At the center of a dim chamber, beneath a painted ceiling of stars, a Hermetic teacher in white linen robes edged with deep blue stands before an altar. Around his neck hangs a simple gold disc engraved with a serpent eating its tail, the Ouroboros, symbol of the mind folding back upon itself. Before him lies a polished obsidian tablet, a bronze astrolabe, and a parchment covered in careful Greek script. He speaks to a small circle of initiates, their wool cloaks brushing the stone floor. The outer stars are within you, he says. Your thought is not trapped in the skull. It extends through the subtle substance that binds all things. As he guides them into silence, you feel the atmosphere change. Vibration thickens. The flicker of oil lamps stretches into trails of light. One initiate closes his eyes, breath slows, and his awareness expands beyond the room. He feels his thought as a ray, touching possible futures, choosing one by aligning his emotion and focus. This is not metaphor for them. It is training. He leads a practice, steady breathing, attention at the heart, then at the brow, visualizing a desired outcome as already real while feeling gratitude. In this union of image and emotion, the Hermetic master explains, the mental wave collapses, possibility crystallizes into a path, people and events subtly rearranging to match the inner pattern. The collapse is first in consciousness, then in behavior, then in the outer world. Elsewhere, other traditions teach the same secret in different languages. In the Yoga Vasistha, sages describe the universe as mind stuff, where thought waves project entire worlds. In Tibetan Dzogchen, masters train to see all appearances as spontaneous display of Rigpa pure awareness shaped by karmic tendencies and present intention. In Kabbalah, the Sephirot map the descent of subtle intention into concrete form. Different symbols, same message. Reality bends most for the one who understands how mind shapes the invisible field before matter responds. You begin to realize this is not merely belief, but a technique for profound inner and outer transformation. To understand how your thoughts collapse reality, we must bridge mysticism and mechanism. Take Paramahansa Yogananda, a Kriya Yoga master who spent years in Himalayan retreats before bringing his teachings to the West through precise pranayama directing breath and attention. Along the spine's energy centers, he entered states of nirvikalpa samadhi, where the sense of I dissolves into limitless awareness. Witnesses described him sitting motionless for hours, breath scarcely perceptible, body radiating peace. He taught that when attention repeatedly travels the inner spine, it withdraws life force from restless senses and pours it into higher centers, changing not just mood but probability-drawing circumstances that reflect the elevated state. His legacy continues as millions practice these exact techniques today, reporting synchronicities, healings, and radical life shifts. Now consider Milarepa, the Tibetan yogi who spent years in mountain caves practicing visualization and mantra. He saturated his mind with a single pointed image of himself as a luminous deity, repeating sacred syllables until ordinary self-concept dissolved. Over time, his inner reality stabilized. He no longer felt like a victim of karma, but as consciousness itself. The transformation manifested physically. His body endured harsh conditions with minimal food. His presence uplifted those who met him. His teaching, shape your inner image and the outer world gradually conforms. What is happening here, beneath the poetry? At the energetic level, repeated thoughts and images form patterns in your subtle body, what yogic science calls nadis and chakras. These patterns regulate how life force flows, which emotions dominate, which possibilities feel reachable. At the neurological level, attention and repetition sculpt synaptic pathways. Your brain becomes a filter that selects certain data and ignores others. The reticular activating system in your brainstem acts like a gatekeeper, highlighting experiences that match your dominant beliefs and expectations. You literally see more of what you internally expect. At the quantum level, pioneers like John von Neumann and Eugene Wigner proposed that observation is not passive. Consciousness plays a role in collapsing a spread-out probability wave into a definite outcome. While science still debates the details, the analogy is powerful. Your mind is constantly measuring reality, selecting one version from many. Persistent thoughts act like repeated measurements on the same pattern, stabilizing it. Your beliefs influence which opportunities you notice, which actions you dare to take, how you interpret events, and thus which timeline you walk. What blocks most people from using this deliberately? Fragmented attention, unexamined trauma, and inherited thought forms. Their inner narrative is not consciously chosen but programmed by family, culture, and fear. The masters did the opposite. They purified attention, practiced coherent states of emotion, and used thought like a laser, not like scattered sparks. The result was not magical thinking, but aligned thinking that gradually collapsed reality into forms that mirrored their inner realization. If all of this were only ancient poetry, you could safely admire it and move on. But modern science keeps stumbling into the same territory. Using different language. Ancient teaching. Consciousness creates reality. Modern finding. Multiple studies show that focused intention changes the body and perception in measurable ways. Mindfulness research has demonstrated that 8 weeks of consistent meditation can thicken brain regions linked to attention and emotional regulation. Heart-focused practices akin to Hermetic heart attention have been shown to shift heart rate variability into coherence, which correlates with improved cognitive performance and emotional stability. Your inner state is not a ghost. It is a measurable field. Ancient teaching. What you hold in mind you become. Modern finding. Neuroplasticity research reveals that repeated thoughts forge stronger neural circuits. Visualizing movements can activate motor cortex almost as strongly as physical practice. Elite athletes and surgeons rehearse in imagination because the brain treats focused mental imagery as training. This is thoughts collapsing potential into skill, then into life outcomes. Ancient teaching. Sages warn that scattered, fear-based thinking locks one into lower realities. Modern finding. Chronic stress narrows attention, biases perception toward threat, and reduces creative problem-solving. Your nervous system becomes tuned to a particular world, one of danger or one of possibility. Studies on the placebo effect show belief alone can trigger physiological changes. Expectation collapses one health outcome instead of another. Researchers like Dean Radin have run experiments suggesting that human intention may subtly influence random systems and even the behavior of light in double-slit setups. Whether or not every result holds up, the pattern is clear. The boundary between mind and matter is not as solid as textbooks suggest. Teachers like Dr. Joe Dispenza echo yogic insights when they tell students, "You are signaling new genes in new ways by thought alone when you enter elevated emotional states and coherent brainwave patterns." So why do most people still live as if thoughts are harmless? Because the modern world trains you into the consciousness trap. Constant distraction, doom scrolling, external validation. Materialist culture insists that only what can be touched is real, so you neglect the only place where reality truly begins, your inner field of attention. Your consciousness is capable of entering coherent, creative states that rewire your brain, regulate your body, and shift the probabilities you walk into. But if you never learn to focus, you keep collapsing the same old reality, again and again, and calling it fate. Now, how do you actually use this? Here are 3 precise practices the masters would recognize. Adapted for modern life. Ways to train your thoughts to consciously collapse a new reality. Quantum stillness breath, aligning the inner. Field ANCIE in source. Derived from Kriya Yoga and the 1:4:2 breath ratios described in the Hatha Yoga Pradipika. How? Every morning at sunrise. Sit facing east on a cushion. Spine tall, chin slightly tucked. Inhale through the nose for 4 counts. Hold for 16. Exhale for 8. As you inhale, silently think, "I open." During the hold, imagine golden light filling your spine from tailbone to crown, saturating each chakra. On the exhale, think, "I release," feeling tension and old stories dissolve. Complete 12 cycles. Duration, about 11 to 15 minutes, daily for 21 days. Expected results: calmer nervous system, clearer focus, reduction in intrusive thoughts. You will notice that you react less and can choose thoughts more easily. Your inner field becomes coherent. So your outer reality becomes less chaotic. Scientific backing: slow, extended exhales and breath retention activate the parasympathetic nervous system, increase heart rate variability coherence, and improve prefrontal cortex function. Exactly the state where deliberate intention is most powerful. Thought-form. Alchemy Journal. Rewriting the Narrative Ancient. Source: Hermetic Mental Transmutation from the Kybalion tradition. Combined with Stoic self-observation. How? Each evening, open a dedicated reality ledger journal. Draw a line down the center of the page. On the left, title it Unconscious Thought Forms. On the right, Chosen Thought Forms. Spend 5 minutes recalling your day. For each recurring negative or limiting thought, nothing ever works for me. I'm always alone. Write it on the left. Then deliberately create a new thought on the right that has emotional truth but higher vibration. Life keeps sending me opportunities to grow. I am learning to attract deep connection. Close your eyes, breathe slowly for 2 minutes, and vividly imagine a scene that matches the new thought. Feeling gratitude as if it's already real. Duration: 10 to 15 minutes nightly. For 28 days. Expected results: you will start catching the old thoughts in the moment and feeling a subtle inner click when you shift into the chosen narrative. Over weeks, your decisions and perceptions align with the new script. Collapsing a new trajectory. Scientific backing, cognitive reframing, and mental imagery are proven to reduce anxiety and rewire neural circuits. Journaling enhances emotional processing and memory reconsolidation. Field broadcast WALK, turning daily life into ritual. ANCIE source: inspired by Zen walking meditation and Taoist key circulation practices. How? Once a day, take a 15-minute walk without your phone. As your feet touch the ground, synchronize steps with breath. Inhale for 4 steps, exhale for 6 to 8 steps. Choose one clear thought form to broadcast. Stated in present tense: I move through a reality of support. My work expresses my soul. With each exhale, imagine this thought as a subtle vibration radiating from your heart into the space around you, like ripples in a golden field extending several meters. Let your body posture reflect that reality walk as the person who already lives it. Duration: 15 minutes daily, ideally at the same time for consistency. For at least 30 days. Expected results: sense of alignment between inner and outer life, unexpected helpful encounters, ideas, or synchronicities reinforcing your chosen reality. Scientific backing: rhythmic movement combined with intentional affirmations improves mood, embodiment, and makes new beliefs more felt, which strengthens their neural imprint. You now hold in your hands a pattern the masters once guarded. How to stabilize coherent states of mind so that your thoughts stop randomly scattering probabilities and begin consciously collapsing reality into a higher form. If you commit to these practices, even for a few weeks, your perception, your choices, and the coincidences of your life will begin to shift. The truth was never hidden, only your eyes were closed. Now you see. Subscribe, because next week I'm revealing the Hermetic code behind why specific symbols, like the Ouroboros and the I, change your consciousness every time you look at them.